So in this learning, we are summarizing previous 4 scenarios which we discussed in previous 4 learnings. So we are giving the big picture here. So the big picture is when we are doing equity valuation, we need the numbers, and we need the numbers for free cash flow. And broadly speaking, we have 2 types of free cash flows. First one is free cash flow to the firm, and another is free cash flow to the equity. So first of all, we will talk about free cash flow to the firm. And in previous 4 scenarios, we learned that if we have to compute these numbers, of course we need these numbers, because once we calculate free cash flow to the firm, then we will discount this at weighted average cost of capital to compute the value of the firm. So we need these numbers of free cash flow. Now, depending upon scenario, depending upon what kind of information we have to compute free cash flow to the firm. So if we are provided with the cash flow statement, and in that case we will use CFO, cash from operations, this number from cash flow statement, to compute free cash flow to the firm. So, or in this case we will use this formula. CFO would be the starting number from cash flow statement. We will add to that interest multiplied by 1 minus tax rate, and then we will deduct from that investment in fixed capital investment. We don't consider in this situation investment in working capital, because this has already been reflected in CFO, which was in cash flow statement. Similarly, we don't have to consider in this situation and non-cash charges, because depreciation is already considered in CFO in cash flow statement. But sometimes we are provided with net income, and in that case we have to start with the net income and then do the calculations, and net income available to shareholders would be starting point. We will add to that net non-cash charges. Mostly non-cash charges is depreciation, because this has reduced the net income, but it does not result into any sort of cash outflow. So it is added back. Moreover, we add back interest multiplied by 1 minus tax rate. This is because we are calculating free cash flow to the firm, and interest. And when we say firm, it means this cash flow is available to all suppliers, both debt and equity. So interest has been paid to debt. It is added back because we are calculating free cash flow to the firm, and that is why it needs to be added back. So then we will of course minus the investment in fixed capital, and this would be investment in things like plant, property and equipment, and then there will be minus for working capital investments as well, because income statement does not reflect investment in working capital. So it is mostly a minus number, because investment in working capital means there is increase in working capital, and working capital mostly is about current assets and current liabilities, and in current assets mainly we consider inventory and account receivable. In current assets we don't consider cash or cash equivalents, and in liabilities we mostly consider account payables. And then there may be a third situation when we are given EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, and then we have to calculate free cash flow to the firm, and in that case of course we will start with this number EBIT, but we have to multiply this with 1 minus tax rate, and then we add to that non-cash charges, and we will deduct the fixed capital investment, and of course working capital investments would also be deducted. And sometimes we have to start with EBITDA, EBITDA we call it, and this is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. In this case we start with this number, of course, EBITDA number, and then we times it with the 1 minus tax rate, and we add it on top of that depreciation into tax rate. This is because we have to add back the depreciation, and of course then we will minus the fixed capital investments, and we will also deduct the working capital investments. And when we say working capital investments, we just means that there is increase in working capital, and if at all in any situation there is a decrease in working capital, that would be a plus number, but normally it is not so. So we have to calculate free cash flow to the firm, and we calculate it for all the years, and then we discount it at weighted average cost of capital to compute the value of firm. For exact numbers and various scenarios, there are different learnings on that, but this is the one which gives overall big picture on how to compute free cash flow to the firm from various situations, like from CFO, from net income, from EBIT, and from EBITDA.